What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new, please consider subscribing. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button for me. Alright, got a really cool knife for you guys to check out today. This is a kind of like a one-of-a-kind in my opinion. Well, I think Sandrin's the only one doing this. This is the Sandrin Knives Dellatorre. This is a slip joint with the thinnest blade stock you're ever going to see, I think. Blade stock thickness on this knife is 35 thousandths. It is tungsten carbide, and I know some people, it also has a DLC coating that's been polished to a mirror finish on the blade, so it's a fingerprint magnet. But stainless steel handles, stainless, I think the pocket clip's titanium, and I think this, I'm not sure what the backspacer piece here is, or the spring is, but man. Thinnest blade stock I've ever seen on a knife. I mean, you can literally flex this blade. See this? Will that show up on camera? It flexes. Oh, this one's wild, man. It has a Scandi grind on the edge. It is pretty sharp. I know people are concerned about sharpening tungsten carbide, but there's a guy on YouTube that shows how to do it using lapping paper. And he follows the instructions given to him by Sandrin. You can also always send your knives to Sandrin and have them sharpened by Sandrin if you needed to put an edge on one. Let me give you some specs and then some size comparisons real quick. Overall length is 7.08 inches. Blade length is 3.1 inches. Blade thickness 35 thousandths. Handle length 3.85 inches. Handle thickness is 0.41 inches. Weighs 2.6 ounces. Made by Sandrin Knives. This is the Dellatorre SK-1. There's another knife very similar to this called the Lanza, I believe, Sandrin Lanza, that has a sheep's foot blade instead of a drop point blade. All their knives use tungsten carbide blades on the blade. I almost said blade steel. It's not actually steel. Use some size comparisons real quick. Here it is next to a tactile bear. Here it is next to the Bestech Junzi. These are the only slip joints I happen to have here at the moment. But just to give you a size comparison with that blade stock, let me show you this right here. I think the I can't remember what the bear is. I want to say 70 thousandths, maybe it's 90 thousandths, but look how thin that is. You see how thin that blade is? It's freaking so thin, man, so thin. I do have an overview of the Torino, also by Sandrin Knives, which is a very cool knife with thumb studs. If you search my channel, you'll find that. A knife that this one definitely shape-wise gives me vibes of is the Benchmade Bug Out. Although this is much, the Bug Out's a very lightweight, thin knife. The Bug Out I know is 90 thousandths. I think the Bear is 70 thousandths, but here it is next to a Bug Out blade that's 90 thousandths. It's absolutely amazing, man. Amazing how thin you can go with tungsten carbide. I mean, they are warranted and everything. I don't know a whole lot about tungsten carbide, but yeah, it's pretty impressive. Here's the Civivi Elementum. You could fit 3 of these inside an Elementum, width-wise or thickness-wise. Here's a Kaiser Feist. How about a Wiha Banter? Or how about, show you something I got here. You haven't seen much on the channel yet, if anything at this point. You probably haven't seen this knife yet. Here's the Bestech Nixie. Here is the Chris Reeves Nkosi. Here's the Wiha Knives Lucas P. And do a couple more that will be more recognizable to people, I think. Here's the Fair & Forged Stinger. Pretty thin, slicey knife, but has nothing on the Dellatorre. The Dellatorre is truly in a class of its own. Here's the QSP Penguin. And I will go ahead and do a variant PE. Here we'll do this one. So should give you a good idea on the size. As far as lengthwise, you can see the size of it, similar to a bug out, similar to a penguin actually, but there's nothing I have. The closest thing I have is the tactile bear, and it's not even remotely close. It does have reversible pocket clip, very interesting looking pocket clip, but it works extremely well. It's how thin this is. This one's rough for me with it being so thin because my arthritis has flared up my knuckle right now. So it's a little rough, but I think that's just because of my arthritis. Actually, I know it is because something slightly thicker, like the bug out, is not doing it to me right now. That much thickness doesn't make me bend my knuckle that much. But if you don't have arthritis, that won't be an issue for you. They like to put these holes in their blades. Pretty common on all their knives. Looks good in my opinion. I could have done without the polish on the coating, the DLC coating, because this is a slip joint. You got to grab this blade, you know, and every time you grab it, you end up with that. See that big thumbprint right there? So, but man, what a knife! What a knife! There's nothing else out there like this that I'm aware of. If you are aware of something like this that's this thin, 35 thousandths, comment below and let me know. It has to be tungsten carbide, obviously. Steel would break or bend or fold, more than likely. Most steels, I think, would. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to get a tungsten carbide blade and attempt to sharpen it. But I'm going to have to wait till I have some older stones because I don't want to ruin my stones. I've heard the horror stories of people ruining their stones trying to sharpen this stuff. But look up sharpening tungsten carbide on YouTube if you're interested. Actually, I'll go find it and link his video in this video. I cannot remember his name, but I'll go through my history and find it. But he goes over how to sharpen tungsten carbide and puts a razor's edge on it pretty easily, actually. So it's a different process than sharpening steel, but it can be sharpened. Ergos are other than my knuckle issue. Ergos are great on this knife. The walk and talk, not much of one. I mean, you don't even hear anything on the half stop. I think that has to do with how thin everything is. And tungsten carbide is not going to give you the same audible sounds you would get from steel. So, but it's nice and stiff on the spring, on the back spring. So, yeah, interesting knife for sure. Would I carry this knife? I probably would carry this knife. I'd probably remove the pocket clip and get a slip for it and slide it in a slip. As far as the handle thickness goes, the Bear, again, is the closest thing I got. And they're actually pretty close. The Bear's a little bit thicker, probably by a millimeter, maybe 2. I'd say 1 millimeter thicker. Yeah. Pretty cool. The scales are contoured, so it definitely helps with the ergonomics. About cut myself. Got lucky. Yeah. This thing I don't like about slip joints right there. They can come down on you. They can come down. That's why I like the Junzi so much. Got a finger choil there, so if it starts to come down, you got control of it the whole time. But yeah, I don't really know what to compare this knife to. I'm just amazed at how thin they can make these blades. I'm curious if anybody's used one of these hard, how well it would hold up. Is this stuff prone to breaking? According to Sandrin, they aren't, and they've got a warranty to back it up, so I'm assuming that it will hold up. Obviously, this isn't a knife that's designed for any kind of hard use. This is light use stuff here. Package opener. You could definitely use this as a letter opener. There's no doubt about that. It would perform very well for that, or opening any packages. Good looking knife in my opinion, and I just don't like that polished DLC. Just do DLC and leave it alone. Don't polish it like this because it's especially a blade you got to constantly grab to open and close it. So, alright guys, comment below, what do you think of tungsten carbide? Are you a fan? Have you ever used a knife with a tungsten carbide blade? What are your thoughts on it? And check out that guy's video. I'm going to put it in the description showing how to sharpen this stuff. So pretty interesting video actually. I found it very interesting. I think you guys will too. It's not as bad as you think it is to sharpen this stuff. So, all right, guys, that's about all I got on this one. I don't really know what I like it, but you know, I will link this knife below too. It is on White Mountain Knives. Use my code BEDC10 if you're going to pick it up and get 10% off. It runs around $280, I think, or $290. It's an expensive knife, but these are imported from overseas. And I want to say they come from Germany, or maybe it's Sweden. I know they come from somewhere in Europe, but I can't remember exactly where. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next one.